Can the Avengers defeat Darkseid? In a vast universe where stars sparkle like precious gems in the endless darkness, the heroes of the Avengers come together from diverse origins. Thor, the Asgardian god of thunder, born of Odin, the legendary king, wields the power of the hammer Mjolnir, now enhanced by the Odin Force, making him an immortal being, on par with the ancient gods. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, is a mutant with the ability to manipulate reality, derived from chaos magic, allowing her to bend space and time with her thoughts. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, was once a normal pilot, but after being exposed to Kree energy, became a symbol of cosmic power, soaring through galaxies at the speed of light, her body shining like an exploding star. Darkseid, a dark entity from Apocalypse, a descendant of the new gods, Uxas, who killed his brother to gain the Omega Force, became the Lord of Darkness, his eyes emitting Omega beams that can wipe out all life. His history is one of blood and conquest, dominating planets, searching for the anti-life equation to control free will. The Avengers, a group of Earth's heroes, formed from the battles against Loki, Ultron, and Thanos, now face a threat from another dimension. They gather at Avengers Tower, where neon lights reflect off high-rise glass, under the glittering New York night sky. The first major milestone occurred when the space portal opened, a black crack like the mouth of hell, from which Darkseid stepped out, his giant body, his skin as gray as stone, his eyes as red as hellfire. He declared his conquest of Earth, his voice echoing like thunder from the abyss. Thor rushed forward first. His hammer Mjolnir swung, creating a dazzling lightning bolt that lit up the sky, colliding with Darkseid's Omega beam, creating an energy explosion that shook the building. Glass shattered like rain. Scarlet Witch raised her hand, the surrounding reality warped, creating a magical shield that sparkled red, protecting her teammates from the destructive power. The surprise happened when Darkseid summoned the parademons. The monsters flew like a swarm of giant locusts, their wings flapping to create a whirlwind, rushing at the Avengers. Captain Marvel flew up, her body glowing golden, punching through a series of enemies, creating a long line of fire in the air. The climax comes when Thor confronts Darkseid directly. The power of the Odin Force makes him shine like the sun, equal to Superman, the hero who defeated him in previous battles. They collide, the ground cracks open, mountains shake, lightning and Omega beam clash, creating an energy storm that destroys everything around. The Avengers prevailed, with Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel assisting, forcing the regular Darkseid to retreat, black blood dripping from his wound as he snarled and retreated through the portal. But this was only the beginning, as the dark entity had a more powerful true form. The heroes gasped, looking at each other under the dim moonlight. After defeating Darkseid's base form, the Avengers realized he was just a shadow, and the true form, Infinite Frontier Darkseid, was waiting in the higher dimension. The origin of this form lay in his absorption of the power of the ancient gods, becoming a being beyond limits, able to kill the Quintessence, the most powerful group of beings in the DC universe, including Phantom Stranger, Spectre, and other gods, without difficulty. The Quintessence, formed from immortal souls, once interfered with the fate of the universe, but were easily obliterated by him, their bodies disintegrating into stardust under the Omega effect. The Avengers, now including the Hulk with his massive green power, Iron Man in his LED-lit tech suit, and Doctor Strange with his flowing cape, open the portal to Apocalypse. The landscape is a fiery hellscape, volcanoes erupting with molten lava, the air heavy with black smoke. The next major milestone is the raid on Darkseid's palace, where he sits on a black stone throne, eyes flashing, summoning his true form, a more massive body, covered in endless black energy, like a living black hole, sucking in the surrounding light. In a surprise, this Darkseid easily defeats Thor. The Odin Force is pierced by the Omega beam, and he falls, golden blood dripping onto the cracked stone floor. Scarlet Witch tries to manipulate reality, but he laughs, bending her magic back, creating a chaotic illusion where teammates attack each other under a blood-red sky. Captain Marvel rushed forward. Photon energy exploded like a meteor, but was caught by him, thrown through the collapsing towers, dust flying up. The climax reached its peak when the Avengers joined forces. Doctor Strange opened a sparkling magic circle, summoning other dimensions, while Hulk repeatedly punched his body, creating earthquake-like cracks. But Darkseid's true form was too strong. He killed Quintessence with just a look, now wiping out a series of heroes. Iron Man was crushed under a giant fist, his armor shattered and glittering under the firelight. In conclusion, despite the Avengers' efforts, like Scarlet Witch trying to seal him into the endless void, the chance was slim. They lost. Bodies lying scattered on the black battlefield, Darkseid stood tall, his figure blocking the red Sunday, connecting the whole, from the origin of Earth's heroes to the evil god of Apocalypse. through the milestones of defeating the base form and then losing to the true form, emphasizing the difference in power. Linked by their defeat, by their true form, the remaining Avengers gathered under the shattered sky of Apocalypse, hot winds carrying ash whipping their faces. The source of hope lay in Vision, an artificial intelligence from the Mind Stone, with unparalleled analytical abilities, and Black Widow, a skilled warrior, a former Russian training program, now using her intelligence to plan. They sought to exploit Darkseid's weakness, the incomplete anti-life equation derived from an ancient mathematical formula that could be reversed. The key point was the final raid on the core of Apocalypse, where the furnaces burned red, the machines creaked like hell. Darkseid, true form, stood there, his body as huge as a mountain, his skin black and shiny in the firelight, his eyes scanning, sending Omega beams warping space. The surprise came when Vision hacked into his system, the screen flashing with green code, reversing the equation, causing the dark entity to sway, the image of the conquering memory, flashing like a slow-motion movie. The climax exploded when the remaining Avengers attacked. Thor, restored by the Odin Force, swung his hammer to create a white lightning storm, illuminating the dark cave. Scarlet Witch recreated reality, turning the stone into magical chains that wrapped around him, glowing red. Captain Marvel flew around, photon beams piercing, creating fiery wounds. Darkseid roared, his voice echoing like an earthquake, killing more heroes, but they were resilient. Hulk leaped and punched him in the chest, creating a thunderous explosion. Although the chance was slim, the Avengers found a way, combining strength and intelligence, sealing Darkseid into the endless void. After sealing Darkseid into the void, the Avengers returned to Earth, but the legacy of the war still haunts. The source of their return lies in the remnants of the Omega Force, dark energy particles that float like stardust in space, gradually condensing into a shadowy figure. Darkseid, an immortal entity, once of Uxas, is now reborn from the will to conquer, his body formed from cosmic darkness, his eyes glowing red like falling meteors. The Avengers, weary from the battle, gather at Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, where flickering magic candles illuminate dusty ancient books. The musty smell of old paper permeates the air. The appearance of a new ally, Superman from the DC Universe, the red-cloaked hero of steel, originally from Krypton, who has defeated Darkseid countless times in single combat. He flies through the space portal, his body glittering in the Earth's sunlight, warning of his rebirth. Scarlet Witch, her red hair tangled, felt the vibrations of reality, her eyes flashing as she saw a vision of the future. Apocalypse reborn, red fire erupting from a giant volcano. Suddenly, Darkseid reappeared, not in his base form but as a hybrid version of normal and true, stronger thanks to absorbing energy from the dead quintessence. He opened a portal to invade Earth. The sky ripped like torn cloth. Parademons flew out like black bees, their wings flapping in a whirlwind that swept away cars on the streets of New York. Thor swung his hammer Mjolnir, white lightning lit up the night, smashing a series of enemies, debris falling like rain of fire. The climax came when Superman and Thor joined forces to fight Darkseid. He punched him in the chest, creating a thunderous explosion, while Thor's Odin Force created a storm of energy surrounding him, yellow and red light clashing like two suns colliding. Captain Marvel soared up, the brilliant photon beam piercing through space, but he sneered, the warping Omega beam breaking and attacking, sending her flying into the tall building, the shattered glass glittering under the moonlight. With Superman's help, the Avengers repel the first wave of attacks. Darkseid retreats temporarily, his body cracked and dripping with black blood, but he leaves behind a curse. The conquest will be complete. The heroes stand amid the rubble, the wind blowing dust, looking up at the healing sky, knowing that the war now links two universes. Related characters, Loki, Thor's brother, originally from Asgard, now appears as an opportunist, watching from the shadows. With Darkseid's return, the Avengers expand their alliance, inviting heroes from the DC Universe. The origin of the alliance lies in the Justice League, a group of heroes led by Superman, including the sharp-witted Batman from Dark Gotham and Wonder Woman from Themyscira, a warrior with a glittering lasso of truth. They gather at the Watchtower, a space station hovering like a silver satellite, its observation glass reflecting a slow-rotating blue Earth. The key point is the strategy meeting, where Doctor Strange opens the ancient book, the yellowed pages under the magic lamplight, revealing the secret. The anti-life equation is not just a formula, but a living entity, originating from the beginning of the universe, that can be destroyed if it finds the source wall, the endless energy wall at the edge of reality. Darkseid, sensing the plan, sends Darkseid, his loyal subordinate with a distorted face, gray skin, to lead the attack on the Watchtower, red lasers firing from the black warship. The The surprise comes when Loki intervenes. He uses illusions to create fake images, causing the parademons to attack each other, their wings colliding with a metallic sound echoing in the silent space. But he reveals his motive: to claim the Omega Force for himself, blue eyes flashing with ambition under his golden horned helmet. Scarlet Witch confronts Darkseid, red magic swirling around, warping reality, causing the enemy to dissolve into black smoke. The climax reached its peak when Darkseid himself appeared, his giant body blocking out the stars. The Omega beam swept through, obliterating the watchtower, debris flying like metal snow. Superman rushed forward, his steel fist colliding with his stone fist, creating a shockwave that spread, shaking the entire space station. Thor and Wonder Woman supported, the lightning hammer and the divine sword clashing, the dazzling light illuminating the darkness of the universe. They decided to journey to the Source Wall. The space portal opened like a blue halo, leading into the endless void sparkling with meteors. The legacy is solidarity across the borders of the universe, but darkness still lurks. Related characters. Flash, the speedster from Central City, born from chemical lightning, now joins to run through time to find clues. The Alliance sets out for the Source Wall, a giant stone wall hovering at the edge of the universe, its surface carved with ancient idols, a dim light emanating from the cracks. The origin of the Source Wall lies in the creation era, where the first gods were trapped, becoming part of it. The endless knowledge sealed. Darkseid, knowing the plan, ambushes halfway. His warship appears from the black void. Red energy cannons shoot out like meteor showers. The main point is the battle in space, where Flash runs in circles creating a red light, dodging Omega Beam, while Iron Man fires glittering missiles from his armor. The collision creates a golden fire explosion. Scarlet Witch protects the group with a magical shield. Reality warps like water waves under the sparkling starlight. Suddenly, a part of the Source Wall comes to life. The idols open their eyes, emitting ancient energy, attacking both sides, rubble flying like meteors. Darkseid took advantage, absorbing the power, his body swelling, his skin cracking, revealing an endless black light. The climax exploded at the foot of the wall. Superman and Thor punched him repeatedly. The sound of the collision echoed like thunder, while Wonder Woman used her lasso to wrap around him, forcing him to reveal his weakness. Omega's heart could be destroyed by chaos magic. Scarlet Witch focused. Red magic wrapped around him, tearing his chest open, black energy erupting like a fountain of fire. Darkseid is destroyed forever. His body disintegrates into stardust. The anti-life equation disappears. The Alliance returns. Under the bright dawn sky of Earth, the golden sunlight shines through the white clouds. The legacy is inter-universe peace. But the new silhouette hints at the next war. Related characters: Green Lantern, with a green ring that creates a sparkling object, originating from Oa, helping to seal the remnants. After destroying Darkseid at the Source Wall, the Alliance seems to have won, but the remnants of the Omega Force still exist, secretly creeping into the minds of the heroes. The source of the betrayal lies in Loki, the trickster god from Asgard, who once joined as an opportunistic ally, now manipulated by dark energy, his eyes flashing red instead of the familiar blue, his body trembling under his blue-black cloak. Darkseid, the immortal being, reborn from the remaining stardust, forms a new and more powerful form, combining the infinite frontier with the ancient power of the Source Wall. His skin now glittering with black gems, like a dead star sucking in the surrounding light. The return to Earth, where the Alliance gathers at the Avengers compound, a modern building with glass reflecting the blue sky, the grass green under the golden sunlight. Superman, with his toned muscles under the red and blue suit, feels the vibrations of the universe, warning of instability. Scarlet Witch, her red hair flying in the gentle wind, tries to probe reality, but her blurred vision shows the dark figure rising. Suddenly, Loki betrays. He opens the space gate from the inside, a black crack like the mouth of an abyss, allowing parademons to pour in, flying monsters with sharp metal wings, swooping down like a rain of missiles, crashing through the roof, creating a red explosion that illuminates the terrified faces of the heroes. Thor lunged at his brother, his hammer Mjolnir swinging in a white lightning bolt, but Loki dodged it with his magic, the illusion flashing in the bright sunlight. The climax reached its peak when Darkseid reappeared through the portal, his giant body blocking out the sun, the Omega Beam sweeping across, obliterating the Green Lanterns, the blue rings shattering and sparkling like diamond dust scattered on the cracked ground. Captain Marvel soared up, a golden photon of energy crashing into him, but was grabbed by the neck, thrown into the forest, branches and leaves breaking and dancing in the whirlwind. Superman and Wonder Woman joined forces, steel fists and divine swords colliding with his stone fists, creating shockwaves that shook the building, glass falling like sparkling snow. The Alliance repels the attack. Loki is sealed by Doctor Strange, the golden magic circle around him like a living chain. but Darkseid leaves a trail. Black energy spreads, poisoning the air, causing the surrounding trees to wither under the gray sky. They realize he is growing stronger, preparing for the final battle. Related characters: Thanos, the death entity from the Marvel Universe, originally from Titan, now summoned by Darkseid as a reluctant ally, the Infinity Gauntlet glittering with gems under the pale moonlight. With the black energy spreading, the Alliance decides on a final all-out assault on the reborn Apocalypse, a planet of red fire with volcanoes erupting molten lava, the air heavy with billowing black smoke. The climax is rooted in Thanos, the Lord of Death, who once conquered the universe with the Infinity Gauntlet, now controlled by Darkseid through the Omega Effect, his eyes glowing red under his purple helmet, his giant body standing next to the dark entity like two living mountains. The main point is the invasion of the Central Palace, where the black stone throne glitters under the hellish fire. The machinery creaks loudly. The Avengers and Justice League rush in. Flash runs in circles, creating a red streak of light, dodging the lasers from the guards, while Batman uses a smoke bomb to obscure the enemy's vision. The surprise happens when Thanos counterattacks. The Infinity Gauntlet flashes, snaps his fingers, and wipes out half the Alliance. Hulk disappears into dancing green dust. Iron Man's armor shatters and sparkles under the fire. The painful scream echoes in the dark cave. Scarlet Witch tried to manipulate reality, red magic swirling around, but Darkseid laughed. Omega Beam bending the magic back, causing her to attack her teammates. Chaotic images flashing like nightmares. The climax exploded when Superman and Thor directly confronted Darkseid, steel fists clashing Omega Beam, creating a white energy explosion that lit up the entire planet, while Wonder Woman slashed her sword at Thanos, the glittering blade touching her gauntlet, sparks flying everywhere. But he was too strong, absorbing the power from Source Wall and Quintessence, killing Superman with a look, his body falling into boiling lava, red cape burning. Thor roared, Odin Force exploded like the sun, but Thanos grabbed the hammer, crushed under the giant fist. Darkseid was completely victorious. The remaining Alliance lay scattered on the blackened stone floor, red and yellow blood dripping and mixing with the lava. He stood tall, his body blocking the red sun, declaring his conquest of the entire universe.